My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, growing up, I always loved this movie and Raiders of the Lost Ark, but if you asked me which one was my favorite, I'd pick Raiders. But on this latest rewatch, I think this one might actually be my favorite of the franchise now. It's just yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's the best Indiana Jones movie, and I just miss adventure movies like this. You know, there was the Indiana Jones movies, there was the Mummy movies. You could make an argument for the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and if we're talking video games and the Uncharted series, but man, I just miss pure adventure movies. Cause just I love everything on display here so much, and it's got the perfect sense of humor, and it's got incredible action sequences and great performances, and it's just a perfect movie. But let's get into the story, and the story is just one perfect sequence after another. The entire opening scene with young Indy running away from those people on a train is just wonderful. He goes through the reptile court, falls into some snakes, he falls into the lion pit, he goes into the magic vehicle. It's just a very exciting way to begin this movie. And I think that this sequence on the train is the third best train sequence in a movie. Number one is The Lone Ranger, then Paddington 2, but this is right behind it, and that is good company to be with. But then Indy loses, and you feel that, and it skips ahead decades to where he gets the cross again. And I love how this fight scene on the boat looks. It's very stormy, and it's just got an excitement to it. We then get introduced to the story and the lore behind the Holy Grail, and I love all this. And Indiana then goes to Venice, and just everything here is perfection. Like, how we get this one scene early on where he's just like, X never marks the spot. And then he's looking for the Roman numeral 10, and he finds it, and it's X marks the spot. It's just great build up and payoff. When he's destroying the floor as the librarian is stamping the books, comedic gold. And I just love underground tunnels when they're making their way through it, and he's just like rats, and it cuts to a bunch of rats. It's just so like, I don't know what would be worse, being stuck in a pit filled with snakes or being stuck in an underground tunnel filled with rats. Like, neither are ideal, but yeah, like it's just so gross, and like every step has rats in front of him, and yeah, but then they find the knight's tomb and they get what they needed, but then they get attacked by these guys, and it leads to an exciting boat chase. Well, Indy almost kills a guy through a propeller, and it's just so exciting. And I love how the first movie has a truck chase, the second movie has a minecart chase, and this movie has both a boat chase and an airplane chase. The franchise is always finding new ways to keep it exciting, and I love that. You also got the entire rescue scene, which is just hilarious when Indy rescues his dad and they get caught, and he's just like, "Give me the diary, Mr. Jones." And the dad's just like, "You really think my son would be stupid enough to bring it all the way over here?" And there's just that pause. Just love it. And then he gets betrayed by the girl, and then they get tied up next to each other on these two chairs, and this entire sequence is great. I do love the joke right before where they find out that Indy gave some of the pages to Marcus, and Indy's like, "Oh, you'll never find Marcus. When he doesn't want to be found, he's invisible." Something like that. And it cuts to Marcus, and he's just sticks out like a sore thumb, and how him and Salah get chased by all these guys, and he accidentally puts him exactly in a truck. That scene is great. Then Indy and his dad escaping with the fireplace. This is a fantastic sequence that leads to this scene where they have to find this passageway, and the dad's just like, well, I'll sit down while you look, and it opens the stairs and Indy falls down. It's just, the comedy always delivers. You got this chase scene, which is really great, and then Indy has to go get the diary back, and he comes face to face with Hitler, and he gets it signed by Hitler by mistake. That's a really great moment. And then they go on the blimp, and the Nazis are on board are looking for them, and Indy punches him out the window, and he's just like, no ticket, and everyone just waves at the ticket. That's great. Then you get the airplane sequence, which is great, and then the dad's shooting at them, and he accidentally shoots the back tail, and he's just like, did we get hit? And his dad's just like, I'm afraid so. And it's so funny. Then you get the scene when they're trying to escape the airplanes, and this moment's great. And then you get this entire action set piece on a tank, and this is just, like, this sequence is like the Mad Max Fury Road of 1989. 1988? 1989? I forget which one. Either way, it's a perfect sequence. It is just exciting and tension-filled and just really great stuff. And then you get this incredible finale where they find the place where the Holy Grail is at, but they have to overcome 3 tasks. The first one is dodging these 2 blades, which that one was definitely the hardest one. The second one is him having to spell out Jehovah, and if he misses a spot, the floor crumbles. Third one is a leap of faith, and the fourth one, I guess, is finding the grail. And when the bad guy drinks from the wrong cup, and he just ages rapidly, that scene terrified me as a kid. My parents told me not to look, I always did, but man, that's a great sequence. And I do love that the Holy Grail is like the one normal cup there. It's not this fancy gold cup. I really love that. And then everyone rides out into the sunset, and somehow that was over 2 hours, but it just flies by. Like I said, one perfect sequence after another. And there's also this great element of, well, the movie's also about focusing on what's really important in life and how it's the people you care about and not the work you do. I think that really works. And, you know, when they ride off into the sunset, it just would have been the perfect finale for these characters in this franchise. I don't think they should have made any more after this one, but it's directed incredibly well by Steven Spielberg. It's just got a perfect balance of action and comedy, and there's a real vision behind this movie. Like, that tank sequence, that boat chase, they're just so well choreographed, and they're really impressive. I love the grossness of the rats and the makeup of Donovan aging at the end. The production design is fantastic, especially when the temple is falling apart. I love that. It reminds me of like the earthquake sequence in the Universal Studio Tours. And John Williams' music is some of his best work here. It's my favorite score in the franchise. Like the Holy Grail theme, just top notch. And then everyone in the cast is firing on all cylinders. Harrison Ford is once again incredible as Indiana. He just has so much personality without even having to try all that hard. He's tough, he's a badass, but he's also really funny, and I love it how when he finds the Knight's Tomb, he gets all giddy and excited. Sean Connery is hilarious in this movie. It is an excellent performance, and these two and their chemistry, they really felt like a father-son duo, and I love that. Alison Doody is very good in the movie as well. Denham Elliott is really funny. John Rhys-Davies is great. Julian Glover is fine as the villain. And River Phoenix is great in the first section of this movie. So, yeah, like, overall, I love this movie more than all the other Indiana Jones movies. It's the funniest, it's the most exciting, and it's just the perfect evolution of this franchise, and just, everything with the last act and the tasks Indy has to do and the stakes of his dad dying, it's just one of the best climaxes in a movie ever. It truly is. It's a pure adventure sense in the best possible ways, and I love it so very much. So I'm going to go ahead and give Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade a 9 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.